One Nation leader Pauline Hanson is kicking back at the new anti-white racism of the left. And I've given you examples of this racism, some plainly stupid, like artist Ben Quilty's new paintings of Santa Claus, shown as a drunk peeing into a pot plant, with Quilty telling the ABC is mocking Santa as a symbol of this awful white malehood.
He's a straight white man, and so sadly for him, this month he's being put up in the wall.
You're killing him off, Ben.
And white straight actress Anne Hathaway last week also attacked white straight men and their alleged myths.
That myth is that gayness orbits around straightness, transgender orbits around cisgender, and that all races orbit around whiteness.
But Pauline Hanson's had enough of this anti-white, and joins me now. Pauline Hanson, thanks for your time. You plan to ask the Senate to vote on a motion. You plan to ask the Senate to vote on a motion that asks it to acknowledge the deplorable rise of anti-white racism and to say it's okay to be white. Why have you done this?
Andrew, the rise and I think it's reverse racism that is actually happening. What's happened in the past, yes, people of Aboriginality, Torres Strait Islanders, it was deplorable what happened in this country. They were denied the right to vote or be part of the census until the 1960s. I think that where we are headed now, and I think there's been pushed about a guilt trip that because you're white, you're a privileged part of our society, people in our society, and I think it's a load of rubbish. I think what they're teaching our universities to the kids, you know, it's just absolute rubbish. And I think you have to stand up and debate it because this is simmering under the surface and people are fed up with it. We are all Australians together. And right from the time that I first entered politics 22 years ago, when I made a comment, everyone is equal, everyone must be treated equally, and I stand by that. But if we're going to be a close-knit social cohesion in this country, we must, regardless of what colour your skin is, what your cultural background is, people should be treated on an individual needs basis, not on race or colour of their skin.
Well, I tend to agree with you overall, yes. White people are taken as a lump, privileged, but when you say, for instance, those two girls I mentioned at the top of the show burnt by their father, white, I don't think that they are privileged. They don't need to check any privilege at the door at all. What examples of white racism have you seen that really have offended you?
Well, I'll show you some articles here, and this was in the paper there where this mother was invited by a Russian girlfriend to take her children to a childcare centre in Sydney. And when she turned up the centre, she was then asked, have you been here before? And I'll read this word for word. And this was only last year. And the staff approached and asked, it was her first day, and she said no. She said, I'm sorry, you can't come here. It's a multicultural playgroup. And virtually sort of saying, no, you have to have a cultural background. What is your cultural background? She said, I'm Australian. They said, sorry, you've got to come from, I'm sorry, you can't come here. It's for multicultural families and people who speak languages other than English at home. That was found to be true and exact to the words by the anti-discrimination, and they actually did talk to the centre about it. There's another one here. Have a look at this with the Taxation Department, where they're saying here, Australian taxation officers online course tests workers' level of racism, sexism and bias. So if you're going to get a job there, they're going to show you pictures of on the screen, whether you're Aboriginal, whether you're white. So they want to see the screen features that use the test to make a split-second decision about whether they are good or bad. Now, they have said the AT officers have furiously labelled the course straight up racist. Now, that's not right, what's happening in our society. Look at this here, and an Asian American woman's tweets ignite a debate. It's okay to make fun of white people. Now, if anyone out there makes a complaint about someone of black, who is black, or brown, or brindle, I don't care, you know, you're held down. Well, you know, get over it, everyone. We are all people under what our skin colour is. We all have feelings. We all need to work together. We all need to live together in a society. So stop pushing this racism rubbish, and I'm sick and tired of it, that you help people on an individual needs basis, and stop causing this division in our nation.
Well, I have to say the ABC's paying for this new racism. They sacked Red Simons of Skyhooks as their morning presenter or their breakfast presenter for being a white male. They replaced him with a white woman and a Pakistani bloke who's not clearly white. Ratings have halved, but at least they're diversity, you know, well done. Pauline, half a dozen female Liberal MPs from the left of the party say that the Liberals have a huge bullying problem. Two are quitting politics. One, Anne Sudmanis, is even getting a $50,000 trip to New York just before she leaves. Do you feel sorry for these bullied women?
Andrew, I don't condone bullying of any type whatsoever. Politics is a tough game. I, of all people, know that, what I've been through. And I cop it on the floor of Parliament, but, you know, I've got a pretty thick skin. I think they're using it as an exit excuse why they're getting out of politics. So let's have a last shot at it. On the floor of Parliament every day, people see what happens in question time and they get sick and tired of it, how the politicians behave. It's not acceptable to the public. But, you know, it is a bloody tough game. It really is. So if you can't toughen up, because if you can't put up with this, how on earth do you expect to get into a position as a minister or whatever, and you're going to other countries, you're debating with them, you've actually got to stand your ground, and don't take the line because you're a female that you should be treated differently in this game. I don't believe that to be the case. It is up to that person to fight for their worth, that they should be a representative. You've got to be tough. You've got to be able to take it back. But I don't believe in actual, you know, getting out there and bully, which I have been, but I won't play the misogynist tag whatsoever. I think too many women have. It's not my stance, and I'll give back as good as I get.
Well, I have to say, Pauline, I wonder why the bullying of female MPs is an issue now, and it wasn't an issue when you faced death threats, physical confrontations at demonstrations, and you were thrown in jail in what I believe were trumped-up charges. It wasn't bullying wasn't an issue then when you really did see bullying. Pauline Hanson, thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you, Andrew.
After the break, I'm just going to wonder whether the media helped create this strawberry crisis. We'll talk about that after this.
Cbus Insurance helps members like Andrew.
So we had a freight container come from China. 128 pieces of glass was the last one. At the end of it, the two straps were cut and 1.6 tonnes came down on top of me. Lucky enough, I had insurance, which actually helped a lot. That paid off most of the debt that we had as well and helped us pay for groceries and put a little bit of money away for future rehabilitation.
Got them! I just wanted to have every opportunity. Even if something